I'm sure if he needs it, he'll call me. I think he's in great hands, and everything he's going through is, I think, very curable, and he'll whip it.
Is that part of the coaching fraternity, Bruce?
Yeah, I mean, Ron's come out to my golf tournament in Arizona a couple of times, he and his wife, and so yeah, I mean, it is. I mean, there's times when it's competition, and there's time when it's just family.
All right, our next question is from Rick Stroud.
Hey, Bruce, saw a little bit more of Keyshawn Vaughn. What do you make of his progress day to day and in that little contact period?
Yeah, he's improving. It's the game's pretty fast, blitz pickups and all those type of things that go with it. He's got good vision as a runner, good patience as a runner, and he dropped some balls today that he's got good hands. He shouldn't be dropping. So it's just a matter of being more consistent.
And Parnell Motley just keeps showing up, making plays.
Keep making plays every single day. He's going to get a job.
Okay, next up is going to be Greg Almond.
Coach, I want to ask on the defensive line, now that you're having more live periods, if there's someone on that D line that's impressed you or shown up, surprised you beyond what you expected.
Yeah, Will Golston's in great shape, and he's been really, really tough in there. Vita's Vita, Sue's Sue. I think Vito will play better when he gets that thing off his hand, but a little frustrated. But yeah, I think Ledbetter's shown some improvement. Nacho has been having a heck of a camp, and and Pat's done a great job of moving him around now. So even Khalil Davis, he's handling the run well. He can rush the passer, that's for sure, but he's handling the run pretty well.
Okay, next question is going to come from Scott Reynolds.
Bruce, today was by far the breeziest, windiest day at practice. How did that affect the kickers? How did it affect the quarterbacks, receivers, defensive backs with the ball in the air?
Yeah, I wouldn't even consider that a hard breeze. I mean, that was just a left to right wind. I think the kickers were 100%. It didn't affect that type of wind's not going to affect a quarterback.
And then also to Tyler Johnson out again today. Did he have a setback from his original injury, or was this something new?
Same injury.
Thank you.
Okay, our next question is going to come from Jen Lane.
Hey, Coach, what's it been like from your vantage point seeing Tom Brady interacting with the younger teammates? I mean, it's not the first time you've had a veteran quarterback come in and kind of infuse some youth in this situation at the same time. So what's it been like seeing him interact with these young guys that are like half his age? I mean, do you see it kind of reviving him a little bit, giving him energy? What's it been like for you?
I think it's the same has been for him in New England the whole time. Young players come in every year, and you're going to, be with Tom Brady. So it's nothing. The awe factor is long gone, I think. And he does a great job of communicating to a younger player what he's looking for, and special things on routes, things like that. So yeah, he's like having another coach on the field.
But what does it do for him, right? Like we've talked about how he's helped them, but how does it kind of help him, you think, having some of these young studs at the skill positions? Well,
he enjoys it, that's for sure. I mean, it's just getting on the same page with Mike and Chris. I don't consider those guys young. I mean, they're veterans, and so yeah, Scotty's young and some of those other kids, but yeah, he's having a good time.
All right, our next question is going to come from Steve Isbitz.
Coach, the other day you said hitting yourself is the worst thing in football, that guys hold grudges. Tom Brady even went to the ground today. Can you talk more about your experience with that, and does that have you rethinking how you might handle those scrimmages at the stadium?
No, I think we've got to block and tackle, and defensive line's got to play low blocks. Linebackers have to play cut blocks by the backs. So it's a catch-22. You got to do some of it. You'll do a lot of it, but enough of it. And Friday, hopefully, the storms don't take us away from the stadium, so we can get in there and get some good work, and we'll go from there.
And after a week of studying your cornerbacks, what's really standing out there?
The corners?
The corners, yeah.
Well, Motley for sure. He didn't drop any. When they throw around him, he catches it. So yeah, I think Carlton's having a great battle with Mike. He wins some, he loses some. So they're just getting each other better. Same thing with Sean and Jamel going against those guys. We did a little more one-on-ones, really for Tom than for anybody else. But I think all the corners progressing very nicely.
Okay, our next question is from Tom Krasnicki.
Hi, Bruce. Good morning. Hope you're doing well. My question is about your evaluation process of your top rookies, specifically, obviously, Tristan Wirfs and Antoine Winfield. At what point will you determine if they are worthy enough of starting on said opening day?
Yeah, we still got a couple more weeks for that to happen. Tristan's on schedule right now. It looks pretty solid. Antoine is making plays every single day. So both of them are mature players coming from good programs. I don't think the lights will be too big for them. And so, yeah, they're progressing nicely.
Would you have any doubts about Antoine Winfield starting on opening day if you had to start him?
No, I don't.
Okay, next up is going to be Luke Easterling.
Bruce, just a few weeks away from your first game, it's going to be real, from the start. In a big picture way, where is this team at in the terms of what you're most satisfied with, and where are the areas where you feel like you still need more work before you get to that game?
Yeah, I think we're about 75% as a team, where we need to be. We've still got a lot of practice time, a lot of things to install, look at. I mean, we're in no hurry. So, yeah, I think if there's one area, just because you can't judge it very well, is special teams. But I like the intensity out there, what they're doing. And, until you see a guy go up against a Pro Bowler, you never know.
Going back to Parnell Motley just for a second, when you spoke to us the other day about him, you said he was making plays as a DB, but that he was going to have to be that presence on special teams in order to get that spot. Where is that line where a guy just keeps making plays to the point where you have to kind of shift your thought to, now he's making enough plays as a DB to where we have to consider the fact that special teams might not be all of where he's useful?
Well, is he going to start? If he's not starting, special teams takes precedent. It's as simple as that. So if you're a backup, you might be the second best corner, but the third best is a good special teams player. He's taking your job.
Okay, our next question comes from Ira Kaufman.
Bruce, given Brady's experience under center, Bruce, could he have some kind of a subtle effect on the run game in terms of his ability to audible and diagnose defense pre-snap?
Yeah, I mean, he's got great experience in that, and we'll have more run checks than we've probably had in the past, more than last year for sure.
Okay, next up is going to be Rick Stroud.
Bruce, maybe it's just what you're working on, but Brady's ability to pump fake and come back, like he did at Gronkowski that time. How important is that to move the defense like that?
Yeah, that was a well done pump screen thing, and but he does a good job with his eyes, and he can lean guys and move them, especially zone players. They're taught to break on movement, and he's got enough experience and knows how to do that to get guys open.
And then with Howard, I mean, when you bring in a tight end like Gronkowski, some guys might go in the jar and say, well, they don't want me. There was all these talks about trading him. How has he responded? I mean, he's having the best camp he's ever had. He seems like he's embraced that. And will Gronk help him continue to learn the game and progress being here? Yeah, I think the trade talk was outside the building. It was I never talked to him about it. All I talked to him about was getting better, and he was going to be here for a while. And believe it, I think with Tom helping him confidence-wise and watching Gronk work, they've been a good combination, helping each other. Him helping Gronk learn the offense, and so yeah, it's been great for he's still a young player, and to be around the great players, it will raise your elevation. It'll elevate your game.
All right, next up is Greg Almond.
Hey, Bruce, both at inside and outside linebacker, you certainly know who your top two are at each of those positions, but it seemed like the depth was pretty wide open going into camp. Who's showing you something there at the linebacker spot?
Well, Kevin Minter's a solid guy, and we can always count on him to start if you have to. And he's a great special teams player, core special teams player. The rest of the guys on the inside is up for grabs. Again, it's Noah, Chappelle, Jack, whoever's in there, it's all special teams. Right now, it's all, like I said, if you're not a starter, you better be a hell of a special teams player if you want to get a hat. And same thing outside backer. It's, Nelson's got his spot, and the other 4 guys are fighting. And it's not about pass rush. It's about special teams.
Thanks.
Okay, we have time for a couple more. Next up is going to be Zach Blobner.
Hey, Coach. Appreciate you doing this as always. The last couple of practices, it seemed like there's been more drops on the offensive side of things. What's your message to the players when there are a lot more drops than normal? How do you get those guys to get back around and start holding on to the football?
Yeah, I think running backs yesterday, and I don't think the running backs dropped any day in live stuff. But you drop the ball, you're probably not making the team. So you better be really special at something else. I think yesterday was kind of an aberration with the running backs because that's the first day they had it. It was all concentration.
All right, next up is Luke Easterling.
Bruce, we talked to Coach McNair about Ronald Jones in particular. He said that after that practice where he had a couple of drops and he was frustrated, he said that Rojo has, a pride about his game, that he expects that he doesn't have to go to him and say anything in particular to him for him to come back and bounce back the next day. Seemed like that's what happened today. How much does that give you confidence in him moving forward? Obviously, he's the starter in that backfield that he, when there is a mistake, he's going to correct it himself and bounce back.
Yeah, I got all the confidence in the world. He knows what he's doing, and he knows how to do it. But you got to have your mind focused on every single play you're getting a rep on. And there are times he'll go through the motions, and it'll show up real quick, like a drop pass when he knows he should have caught it. There are still there's some little things in the passing game he's still learning that each rep he learns something from. So, yeah, he's a pro. He's getting there.
Okay, and our last question comes from Steve Isbitz.
Coach, what can you say about Rob Gronkowski's blocking now that you've gotten to study it up close in person?
Big man. He can cover you up pretty quick, and he knocked the edge back pretty good a couple of times today. So, with his size and his length, you put him and OJ over there, that's 2 pretty powerful blockers together. So, yeah, it's something he loves to do. So he takes a lot of pride in it too.
All right, that's all for today. Thanks, Coach.
Thanks, guys and girls.